The following program is brought to you with limited commercial interruption.
Today's broadcast is being simulcast in broken English.
I'm here to show the world. I'm here to show the world.
Welcome to the show that we're doing right now.
What the hell are we doing on this show?
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Let's go.
What is this?
Giggity, 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 goo.
Who else but
The Q.
it's showtime? Gentlemen, let's get down to business.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Yeah, I can dig it, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Q. You're listening to the best pop culture, current events, and current affairs show east or west of that Mississippi, hailing from the great city of St. Louis and worldwide at theqnow.com. I am your host, Mark Bland. Joined today, well, first off, Jason Spurgeon of the XFLSTL talk show. What?
Whoa. Hold on.
Wait. What do you mean, hold on a second? Hold on. I didn't even get through the entrance of the show, and you've already stopped me. You're like, whoa. And I don't want to break the recording simply for, what's Jason, what is this? What is
Here. I don't
First
want
off, ladies and gentlemen, before we get any further, I have Jason Spurgeon here. Hey, hey, Dirty.
What's up,
Welcome
buddy?
back. And I have Jason Cole here.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about some stuff with our station, sister station, actually. Some stuff with Trump, but you stopped me. What's the problem? What's going on here?
So the show, we had this very popular podcast,
Yes.
video podcast on Facebook, formerly called A Certain Thing, right?
Okay, yep.
Which we can no longer say anymore.
Wait. So let me guess. Is it the thing that I just said?
Yeah, that I had to stop because I don't want to get a cease and desist letter.
Okay. So we are no longer the XFL thing at all.
No, you could say it. I just can't say it.
Oh, the XFL talk show. We're no
Yes.
longer XFL STL talk show.
No, can't.
Okay,
No,
so
no
you are
longer.
no longer this. What are you now?
We are now the X Fan Show.
Now you are the XFan show. Well, this is breaking news, Jason. Right off the bat, the minute that we literally get onto the airwaves, it's like boom, right off the bat.
breaking news.
This guy can't stop being that guy who's just constantly got a problem, drama. They call him Dirty. Now, I don't know. Why did they call you Dirty again? Did we ever figure this out?
Long story short, when I started doing the video podcasting thing way back 12 years ago, I was a trash man, and everybody that I worked with, we all had the name J. All of our names started with J.
Okay.
So we all just came up with nicknames. I was a trash man, so that's why I got Dirty.
So you went with Dirty. You were a trash guy?
Mm-hmm.
You did that for a living?
Long time.
Wow. Did not know this.
10 years.
Jason, we have this breaking news like we were just talking about,
Yes.
right? They are now the X-Fan show. They are no longer the XFL show that we said the name. We're just going to move on. The X-Fan show now. And why did this happen?
So,
Explain to me how the drama of you having to change an innocent name of a show that you have.
So in St. Louis, when the XFL 2.0 originally came,
Right.
the local media really wasn't covering it, right?
Sure.
So me and my partner, Arlington Lane, who is very well media credentialed throughout his lifetime here in St. Louis.
Sure.
That's a shot at somebody. They'll probably tune in.
Okay. I guess they will. I'm not sure who that is, but all right, moving on.
So we started that show, right? Because we
Right.
knew local media wasn't going to cover it. Well, now the XFL is wanting to clean up their IP addresses, their IPs, right? Which I get it, right? No hard feelings, whatever. They reached out and they said, hey, listen, as a courtesy, we know how good you guys are. We see your fan responses from the fans. Here's what we're asking of you. Would you comply? And we were like, sure, as long as, So we're in a working relationship with the XFL now for future stuff coming up in the 2023 season.
Well, that's nice. That's good. It's good that this story ends on what I would consider a pretty beneficial note.
Maybe. We'll see.
It's like a mutually beneficial note. I feel like that there should be, from my opinion, no problems that you should run into at this point. As long as you guys stay the X-Fan show, you're not touching on their name like they don't want you to.
Right. Yep.
Cool. Everything's fine.
Exactly.
I feel like there should be no issues.
As long as you don't say it again, we'll be good.
Are there other issues? Are there other issues in the world of XFL discussion?
Well, I mean, look, I know you got a lot of stuff to talk about. We can talk about that later. But, I do have another announcement.
We have an XFL announcement?
It's
not the one that you just gave us, which was a pretty big announcement for us. I mean, you were called first out of hundreds of different things that they were probably going to call over that week to talk to them about the IP address or whatever you said. And so you're the first they call because you're the first to pop us up. I can only assume we're going to have more great things.
Well, as our great friend Jim Thomas, made an announcement that the Battlehawk name is staying, right? And I think
we did that on this show.
Right.
That was our sequel. It wasn't even that. It was they are going to be called the Battlehawks. I've seen the uniforms with my own eyes, and this is the colors that they're working with. That's what you told us on the show that we were all on. Now you say you have more. You have more nuggets of love for us.
So now, now they just announced, if you listen to the Pat McAfee show.
Pat McAfee, the former professional football player.
Right, football player, XFL commentator, and now WWE commentator.
Professional football player, I got you.
Working for whatever.
Yes.
He was
Listen,
coach.
guys, just because you have an exciting personality doesn't mean, and because you're athletic, doesn't mean that you're a pro wrestler, okay? That's just, okay? Listen, Weird Al Yankovic has an exciting personality, and he might even go to the Hall of Fame for the WWE celebrity section.
Right,
I don't know. But he's not, I'm never going to look at him and go, oh, there's Weird Al, the professional wrestler. It's just not going to happen.
Right. So Rod Woodson, the coach of the Las Vegas team, announced that next Wednesday they're announcing
NFL great Rod Woodson,
right,
by the way.
And head coach of the Las Vegas team, the XFL Las Vegas team.
Okay.
They're going to announce all of the team names, logos, and color schemes for the uniforms for the 2023 XFL.
Now, what you have already announced on our show, so we can already say that this has been said, is that we were going, the Battlehawks were going to be moving away potentially from their blue to a little more silver and black, like the Las Vegas Raiders kind of vibe.
Yeah, the prototypes that have been out there, it's going to be black, blue, and silver. Going to be like that Raider look, which I think is it's going to be kind of what.
So the blue will still be there, though.
The blue will still be there, but now listen, mind you, when the logo changes from the tattoo that's on the back of my leg, don't be all upset, people, because you're going to like the logo.
Okay, that's cool.
all I can say.
That's cool. Jay, you're an XFL guy?
I watched it when it was on, but it didn't. It only lasted 2 weeks? Did it get through 2 to 3 weeks? Then COVID hit and it just buried it. It just couldn't survive.
Yeah, 5 weeks, and that was thanks to the Washington D.C. Defenders, because they decided to make a beer snake and start coronavirus.
Famously, I got chastised by our friend Dirty over here because I basically explained well before it was going to happen this wasn't going to last anyway. Now it's coming back around in a different incarnation, so I don't have a problem this time around. Do you see what I'm saying?
No.
I just knew that the last time I was like, yeah, this one's going to go like the CFL and the CBL or whatever it was. It's just going to go by the wayside. And everybody's like, no, it's COVID that killed it. It would have survived without COVID. I said, how? Only 3 cities really showed up.
And you're right, Mark.
Money-wise, that was going to turn around. They're going to look at their books 5 to 7 weeks in anyway, and they were going to go, we're literally hemorrhaging in these 4 or 5 markets.
Exactly. So the only thing that was really saving the XFL was really 2 cities in 2020. That was the St. Louis market.
Could you start these statements you make off correctly to me? Because if this is the cue with Mark Bland, right, I feel like on my show, I want you to start off with, you are correct all the time, Mark. You are really, really smart, and I know that you are so far ahead of the curve. Even our show, that wasn't even on the air at the time, didn't realize you said this was going to happen, and yeah, it happened.
It did happen.
That's how ahead of the curve I was. The guy who literally gets the first call from the XFL today, I'm before him even starting the show that he gets called about years ago to say this other thing. That's how good I am.
Do you remember
Yes,
your show the last time I did say you were right?
Yes.
And then I broke down the numbers on how it was working out. But by week 7, if the league would have survived, the St. Louis and Seattle would have sustained the entire league for the first year. And then they were going to try to rebrand stuff and get stuff going. So
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Bring it back around. That's what they always want to do.
Other markets.
Was there ever a discussion why maybe they did attempt to somehow have a connection with the NFL in a way to make it like not a minor league system,
Like
but
a feeder system?
Yeah, well, just to keep it afloat.
He hate me now, baby.
So,
because
that's what they've done this time around is they've actually struck
Look
a
at that.
partnership.
All of this other XFL
go.
stuff has happened. Sorry, not to cut you off. All this other XFL stuff has happened. I'm still saying he hate me now. Like, that's my point. Like, that's how long we're going back. I'm going back 15 years to say he hate
Longer
me
than
now.
that, bro.
20 years.
21.
22 years to say he hate me now. Do you see my point? Like, that's how indelible that one dude's name on the back of that jersey the one time I saw it was, but it was XFL.
He played for the. He ended up playing for the Packers.
No.
He ended up in the NFL.
He did end up in the NFL. I mean,
for
there
a
was
short
couple,
time.
Yeah,
but
no,
I
he
don't
didn't
know who it
last.
was.
I
I
can't
don't know who
remember.
it
Yeah,
was.
now Tommy Maddox, he was in the NFL for like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
You know, but he hate me now. He was in just for like a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
You know,
That was the Vince McMahon version of it, though, right? With
well,
He Hate Me?
well, it was like Mark just said earlier.
Something.
You could be entertaining all you want, but not be a professional wrestler.
Right.
You could be entertaining all
Exactly.
you want and not be a football
Vince
player.
McMahon's entertaining, but is he really a professional wrestler?
Exactly. I love Vince. Everybody loves Vince. Now, the stuff that's come out recently about Vince, though, that's a tough pill to swallow. We haven't really talked about that here on the Q, and it's not something that I ever thought it was going to be something I want to talk about. If we're walking into it for a quick second here, it was just an odd setup for me. Like, I just feel like that's a lot of money and a lot of people and a lot of stories that never got told. Like, I just don't know what to think about Vince at this point, because on one side, Vince has given me some of the greatest moments of my life growing up, childhood-wise or otherwise, just things
100%.
nostalgic. Like, Vince, without Vince, none of that ever happens, and I would be sad about some of that because it was really indelible to me. Watching Warrior versus Hogan meant a lot to a 10-year-old Mark. I'm serious.
80% of my Peacock viewing is WWE stuff.
Okay.
Easy,
Well, yeah, I would
easy,
say
80%.
I would say the WWE probably is what bills out the most
Has to.
subscribers for Peacock every
Has to.
month.
It's all
Right,
there.
yeah, it's got to.
I mean, I understand NBC's popular, but they don't have pro football on there or anything like that.
No, yeah.
And they don't have pro basketball or any of the other pro sports on there.
They have the Sunday night football game.
Just the Sunday night football game. But beyond that, I'm saying, like, they don't have, like, a dedicated amount of weekly whatever, 7 or 8 teams in a league or whatever that you can watch any game or whatever.
Yeah, they do Premier League stuff.
I feel like with the WWE, that's got to be their biggest
It has to be.
cash cow.
It's got to be.
But like what you're talking about, Vince, didn't everything that happened played out like an Attitude Era storyline?
Pretty much,
He's paying out this money, and he's got these women. Like you could see that being a storyline. Like Vince is harassing this woman, and she's going to sue him, and it's like a match.
If you think
she gets
about it,
$3
though,
million or something.
He did that with like the Trish Stratus thing.
That's right.
And his wife Linda.
That's right.
That whole
remember that
sexual misconduct type of
he's
thing.
like stroking her leg. And
Yeah, I mean, look, I as a guy who has 3 daughters myself,
that would be a rough family to grow up in.
yeah, it kind of makes you think differently.
Right.
Sure.
Of the way you should talk to women,
Or the way you feel like you should approach people in general, maybe
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
bit. Like I feel like some of these things are nuanced because it is specifically guy-girl relationship love thing. But then when you kind of step back from these situations a little bit, there's some life stories in there and lessons for people, regardless of like the story between these two individuals. Like you can learn from the way people interact with each other, how they handle things, how they approach things. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, now the Jimmy Snuka stuff about killing the girl and Vince paying it off and hiding it so that they could just move on with life, that's starting to sound like it's got a little bit more legs to it.
It makes you wonder how many other stories there are that we haven't heard like that, especially back in the 80s and early part of the 90s when there wasn't the media we had.
Between 84 and 90, that 6-year run there, that Shawn Michaels classily he put a lot of class into this when he said it, were the best 3 years that he never woke up from. Like, I feel like that's literally, if you're telling me that this I just broke down 84 to 90, that's like a 6-year period. If you're 3 years that you never woke up from because you were just fueled, right? You and Marty Coke all day long, every day, just party said it, and you're in your mid-20s.
All right.
It's the perfect time of life. Like, I get it. I totally see why Sean loved it.
Like
why would you not love that?
Right,
like,
exactly.
I'm dead serious. Guys, I'm not advocating for drug use here by any means, but I'm just saying, like, if you're one of these people that does drugs, doesn't mind it, likes and likes what you get out of it, a 3-year period of never having to wake up from it.
What a great
that
moment
would be
to
it.
live
Just
through.
like that's what addicts at 12-step programs constantly talk about.
Right, exactly.
Their favorite 3-month bender that never ended. Like that's literally all they talk about.
Like I'm truly like want to know what terrible things wrestlers did that he helped cover up that we don't know about.
I
It
feel
has
like
to
Dark
be
Side of the
massive.
Ring's
Yeah, I was
eventually
getting
going
ready
to
to
just
say that.
have a
They'll
new
find it.
episode. Listen. Think of what they've already got.
Yeah.
And they're like 4 seasons in now. And they're not even true seasons. It's just like we're releasing these 8 now.
Yeah.
In about
yeah.
6 months, we'll release 8 more. That's season 2. It's kind of how we got to it's 2022. The original Survivor started in 2000. So if
Yeah.
you did one a year, it should be the 22nd season.
like the
No,
50th.
it's the 50th anniversary, okay?
43rd.
We don't 43rd or whatever.
do
Like,
that, those-
It's weird. It makes
Yeah.
no sense because they're trying to count twice a year.
Yeah,
It's
they,
like,
they break it into fall.
I'm
and
only
spring
counting your
seasons.
show if it comes on in September or October and it ends somewhere in the spring.
Right. Now, it's funny
I'm
that
not-
you say that about Dark Side of the Ring because that last episode they did, the plane ride from hell.
Yeah.
That did cover a lot of stuff.
They
I
got
have not
in-
seen that, but I did see a crazy one.
Okay, but they got in so much trouble. Vice TV got in so much trouble over that.
For what they said?
For the stuff that was on that video. There was a lot of backlash. Like, it made me look
Well-
at Ric Flair completely
yeah,
differently.
that was rough.
Well, hold on.
I like Ric Flair.
Shh,
Right.
Shh. Before we go to break, I'm turning their mics off. Hold on. Shh. Everybody listen. Listen to me. Just like Donald Trump. If you don't want to get in trouble for doing stupid things, don't do stupid things. Do you understand? It's not worth it. It's stupid. Like, it makes no sense. Don't do stupid things. That's going to be it for us on this segment. We'll be back after the break here on The Q.
Sit by myself, talking to the
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Q. This is Mark Bland, and we are coming to you from the studios of 1280 AM, 105.3 FM, KYRO, News Radio, KYRO.com, every single Saturday, 1 to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, brought to you by John Beal Roofing. If you have any roofing needs in the St. Louis area, make sure you reach out to John Beal. That's 1-800-JOHNBEAL, John Beal. We got Dirty here. We got the other Dirty here. They're both Jasons. They're just both Jasons, and I don't even know what to say about that at that point. Like, you're just,
I mean, look.
you're Dirty. You're Jay.
Yeah.
I just call you Jay and Dirty, but if I
There
say
you go.
Jay and look at you, you're going to still respond to it because you're Jason. Like, you've been called Jay your whole life.
Well, I mean,
I just get confused.
I guess literally, first I got to apologize, because you started out what you were going to tell everybody what we were going to talk about. And then I just kind of took over that whole first part to tell you, hey, I can't talk about this because of all that stuff. So I just got to apologize.
First off, shut up. Okay, first off, shut up. Shut up. All right, first off, you didn't take over anything, okay? I've been in full complete control this entire time.
You think?
I mean, yeah, if that's what you feel. It's how you want to. It's how you want to view it. Optics are the way you want to view them, and I love the beauty of life that way. No, but we got Dirty, we got Jay here, and I guess we might as well address the elephant in the room, which is something Dirty has already asked me if we were going to discuss. So, ladies and gentlemen, if I might be so bold, for the last few days since the news kind of broke earlier this week, but technically it all happened late last week, I didn't start getting inundated with anything until early this week. But the situation happened at our sister station here at literally across the hall from the studios here at 1280 AM KYRO. Missouri radio host went on an unhinged and sexist off-air tirade directed at his co-host, calling her a bad mother and saying he felt sorry for her kids. That's right. Vic Faust, who is a Fox 2 news anchor in St. Louis, Missouri, ripped into co-host Crystal Cooper during an expletive-filled rant over her appearance and intellect, according to audio obtained by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. The comments were reportedly made during a commercial break on September 13th on KFNS, a hard rock station. That is The Viper. That is the sister station to our station here, KYRO. And and some of the things, let's just get into it a little bit. Your kids have a expletive, terrible mom. I feel sorry for them, Faust said. A shocked Cooper could only reply, wow. Faust also angrily told Cooper, you're nothing and you're trash. while also calling her fat, stupid, and nasty, the St. Louis newspaper reported. That's the Post-Dispatch. He said, "You're an expletive mom, and you don't even know the topics we're talking about. You're just stupid." The crude verbal abuse apparently stems from Cooper poking fun at Faust over his problems with his computer while the pair were on air, according to a newspaper. Off air, Faust warned Cooper not to return to the show. "If you come back, I'm going to be in your effing way every day," he said. Cooper defended herself throughout the ugly incident, telling Faust to grow up repeatedly. Faust confirmed the off-air remarks to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch when he was interviewed. He also claimed that there was more background to the incident, but did not explain further. The newspaper said it received a damning audio clip this past Friday, which was actually like a week and a day ago or whatever. Cooper apparently left the show the same Friday. The endless insults were hurled at her. As for Faust, it appears his duty at the radio station are on hold. He has, as of earlier tonight or today or whenever you're listening to this, he has been fired by Fox 2 as of right now. So as far as Mr. Faust's situation with the radio station or sister station here, I do not know the current standing of Mr. Faust with the station. I would assume at this point, if I wanted to call management and figure it out, I could figure it out pretty easily. I would assume he's probably been put on hiatus of some sort off the bat. That would be my first inclination. Obviously, I just told you that he's been let go by Fox 2, so that end of that situation is already finished. Beyond that, guys, I really don't know.
When was he on Fox 2?
Well, he was. Well, they have like a rotating set of anchors.
Yeah, he was at 5 and 6.
Yeah, he's on at like 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. Or he could have been like the 6 a.m., 7 a.m. guy. Like they rotate these guys.
He was here.
Well, he's here in the morning, so
right.
yeah.
So yeah, he did the 5 and 6, and I mean, to be honest, he wasn't very good on the TV. Just like he's not very. His morning show wasn't very good either. That's just my opinion.
Now, I understand where people.
Is that going to get you in trouble?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it shouldn't get me in trouble because, first off, the people that love free speech in this building, they should have no problem with me freely speaking. Correct, right?
Wow.
Those First Amendment peoples? You guys the conservatives? Are you the conservies? Do you like it when the people freedom of their speeches? Is that what you like?
Here's what I'll say. I've listened to his show before.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine.
Not very good.
Okay, that's fine.
Kind of bland. No offense, your last name, but kind of bland and boring.
Once again, it's kind of bland, and you're on the show with bland right now.
That's
and
why
unfortunately, it's nothing like me.
That's why I said no offense. You're actually entertaining, and I'm not going to fall asleep.
You are entertaining
while I'm sitting here in your studio talking to you.
Sometimes.
Where if I'm listening to The Edge in the morning with that guy,
okay,
behind the wheel of my motor vehicle,
you're gonna crash it.
I'll probably end up on an accident on 70.
Okay. All right. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of this. First off, I do not condone the actions of Mr. Faust. I at the same point, I don't know Vic personally. I've never met the guy.
No.
So I have absolutely no inclination one way or the other as to how he is as a person. I'm sure he's got his detractors and people that love him just like everybody else. Okay? Obviously, we watched Donald Trump find ways to find people that love him.
Yeah, he said a lot
regardless, and he said way worse, to way more people. Right. And by the way, he also imitated the one guy who was already handicapped and disabled. Okay, to a crowd of 30,000. So
loved it. Not just that, on national live television.
On national live television too. So that's what I'm saying. Like Vic's making his shots, but he's not necessarily swinging for the fences like Pujols over here. Okay.
Right.
With that being said, I can't listen. I've gotten into Jason. You've been off air with me before.
Oh, sure, all the time.
And I've gotten into arguments with Jonathan.
Yes. In
front of you. I've gotten into arguments with Gary in front of you. Yeah. Hell, I've been in arguments with those people on the show live in front of you before. Like, it happens. Yeah. Sometimes me and Jason don't see eye to eye on things. Sometimes me and Mike don't see eye to eye. Me and Dirty don't always see eye to eye. You don't have to be rude about it. It's not necessary. You can explain your point of view. Yeah. Because here's the thing. If what you really want to do is say something and get it off your chest, say what you need to say to get what you want out of the situation. Now, if what you want out of the situation is to make someone feel bad, to lose your jobs, and to like not be able to pay your bills ever again, great job.
Yeah,
you did really, really good. Like, you're fantastic at it. If your thing is to maybe, see about here, like, what's really, really funny about this is according to the article, it starts over with her looks.
Yeah, he called her fat.
What she's wearing and what she was looking like on the air because she poked fun about how he used a computer. So this dude is so sensitive that when somebody's like, oh, you don't know how to send an email attachment, he goes, I'm going to kill everyone.
With this
That's weird.
Rise to the toxic masculinity that they talk about.
Keep going. I'm listening.
No, with this rise to that, because I never gave a lot to that. The toxic masculinity, the guys acted really masculine and they freak out.
Did you see the video of this at all?
I saw the transcripts of the thing.
No, but did you see the video?
No.
I watched
There's
it.
a piece of the video that they don't have in the transcripts that they released because the video's just longer and they didn't want to transcript every little piece. A little earlier, before you get to where this big bluff, he makes a comment. He does. You know what he does? He breaks her down high school wise, like we do in St. Louis, and he's like, "You went to St. Domaduchanes, and I don't think that's a good school because I went to Alta Belleville." And I'm like, dude, you're the only school in Belleville no one knows the name of. Like, they know Belleville East and West,
Exactly.
Belleville North and South. There's a Belleville, like, Central. There's 15 Bellevilles. They didn't even know the school you went to. Like, I don't even get that, like, argument because it's like, that's where you go?
You know what? I'll say right now.
That's where you go?
On the air for anyone listening. If you ever catch me in an argument with anyone where I'm discussing the value of our high schools that I went to 30-some years ago, just kill me.
That's
kill
when
me
you know
because it's a gone after that.
Like, really.
Now see, Jason's from Iowa. Dirty,
Sure.
you're from DeSoto in Missouri, so he understands the high school question.
That is a
aspect,
St. Louis thing.
St. Louis area thing,
Yeah.
better than you do.
Yeah,
You
I
didn't
get
grow
asked
up with
it.
that.
I get asked it.
I'm
Well,
sure
yeah.
you do.
It's a sad thing that we're at the age that we are now, and we think that our high school is what matters. What the HE double hockey sticks did we learn in high school, anyways?
Yeah.
That prepared
Bro,
us for
you
life?
host two
Nothing.
media shows for two major Fox affiliates.
And
Like,
you-
you were an anchor on the 5 p.m. news,
Right?
which is a pretty cheap slot to have
It's the
outside
start of
of
prime time.
outside of the 10 o'clock news, which is the one everybody's home for to watch because they're going to bed.
And you have a morning show.
Like, beyond that, you have a morning show, too. You're getting paid both sides of the bit. Like, what is the Listen, we can sit here and we can down this guy all we want. It ain't going to change anything.
No.
It's just not going to change
I mean,
anything.
look, I'm not saying what he did was right. Maybe he was having a bad day.
He could have been easily
Maybe
having
he
a bad
needs to
day.
listen, with this whole new, woke thing that we have in America now, right?
Mm.
It's really hard for people to accept that you can't say certain things and do certain things now. And the problem is we've gotten to a point to where we've learned to not accept each other's opinions. It's just about, I'm right, you're wrong, your opinion sucks, my opinion's right.
It's talking just to talk.
Exactly.
It's literally, I want to say sentences with a period, and then I want to just be like, I'm good with that.
And don't format your show to be like, a morning zoo type show. And then if one of your co-hosts are sitting there giving you trouble, just like I did to you,
Sure.
you didn't explode and act like a fool.
I just turned your mic off. That's all I did.
Exactly. See, there you go. That's all you do.
That's all I did.
I mean, that's what
middle of his speech.
Yeah.
While he's trying to make a point, specifically at the point that he tries to make the point, turn the mic off. Doesn't get to make the point. Look at
Right.
that.
Exactly.
You see what I'm
See?
saying? He deals with it.
I guess I just don't understand why he had to tear her down so bad.
I really don't feel like hanging out with you at your house later tonight at all. Just letting you know.
All right, cool.
Okay, I'm just letting you know. I just don't want you.
Works for me.
I knew you were going to like
God
tap me
damn
on the
it.
shoulder. Hey,
Why you listen?
hey, Mark, now that
being
you're off the
terrible.
air with me, why don't you come on over to my house? We can talk a little bit about your opinion of my
Yeah,
microphone
we're not doing it now.
skills. We're
You're
not gonna
being
do it right now.
terrible.
You'll think about that next time you comment on my email ability.
Listen. I don't know Vic. I don't know the young lady as far as on behalf of people who are on the staff of this station that shares a building and is a sister station to that station. I want to apologize to her for the actions of a coworker.
Right, that's super rude.
Not technically a coworker to me directly, but still, if we're all working with the same group, like we're all in the kind of working together. So I apologize that individual did that. I know that apology coming from me doesn't mean as much. You would rather have it from that person and have them deal with.
But would you really want to, though?
I don't even know. Like, I really don't know. Maybe we'll ask Cooper to come on here.
Hey.
Maybe I'll just have Cooper come on here and be on the queue for a little while. Like, I don't mind.
Tell us how you feel.
Yeah, come on. Tell us how you feel. Tell us how this made you feel. I don't have a problem giving you a place to talk about that. And this is not to downgrade my sister station, the Viper, or the people that work over there, or any of those people. They're not bad people by any means whatsoever. This is a situation where this individual did their thing, and they are now going to have to deal with the repercussions and the fallout from that. Everybody else is just going about and doing their job the way they were before, not making fun of Miss Cooper, not creating problems for everybody else, and that's it.
Hey.
At least as far as right now. Now, I don't know about the other hosts that were on the air with him that day, because I know it's him and a couple of other people that like rotate also, that that come in and talk. I don't know who was on the air specifically.
Well, if you listen to the video, they all, or the audio.
Sure, yeah.
They all started sticking up for her. But I'll tell you this, I mean, she might be a good addition to your show because, I mean, you got us sitting here. We're not very easy on
Why
the
don't they
eyes.
just
We're
give
ugly.
it? I just think that they should just call it Cooper in the morning and give it to her. Like, why not?
Right.
Like, hey, the edge is gone, but you know what? Because of this and the way this dude was listen, you're making fun of her appearance. Okay, I understand
What
you're
does
on
she look like?
hold on. I understand you're on a webcam. I get it. But it's like 7 o'clock in the morning on a webcam. Like, this is not CNN at 7 p.m. with Don Lemon. Like, this is literally a St. Louis station.
Crappy
7
webcam.
o'clock in the morning on a webcam to a Facebook Live feed. This isn't like this.
Right, exactly.
We're doing radio. I could come in here butt naked. What would you people care? What would it matter? You wouldn't care. That's the beauty of 1280. I could come in naked and do that. We do naked shows on 1280. That's how edgy we are.
I'm not.
We are the edgy edge.
Right now, where I'm sitting, I might care.
Yeah, I might care too.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. It depends.
Fair enough. All
That's
right.
what we're doing.
We're going to take a quick break here on the Q. Make sure you check out theqnow.com. After this, we'll be back more with myself, Dirty, and Jay after these messages. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Q. You're listening to us on 1280 AM KYRO News Radio, KYRO.com. And I'm joined today by my boys Dirty and Jay, and we are talking about all of those things that you just find lovely in the world, right?
Great.
Like just the drama that Dirty brings. He started the show off with it. It's been fantastic. I've enjoyed it. You've all enjoyed it. You've been listening to it. And what else has been going on in your world, Dirty?
They'd have never known that we just got into an argument off the air.
We got into an argument, and it was
very terrible.
Don't go to high school there again, bro.
Right, exactly.
That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying.
What is going on?
Don't even try to bring it up again, bro.
Right,
Go back in time and rethink your high school.
You better
Right.
rethink your high school.
Rethink
man.
your high school.
You're not a dragon anymore, bro.
I'm not a dragon no more. What's going on in my world, huh?
Yeah, what's going on in your world? Are you doing any wrestling stuff? Have you been getting into the wrestling world? Have you been touching it?
Yeah.
Politics. Have you been paying attention to the politics of the world?
I have. It's just it's still.
Can I talk about this Donald Trump thing that just popped up?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, you know me. I love 45.
Well, let's get into it. New York's Attorney General sued former President Donald Trump and his company for fraud this past Wednesday, alleging that they padded his net worth by billions of dollars by lying about the value of prized assets, including a golf course, hotels, and his homes at Trump Tower and Mar-a-Lago. Attorney General Letitia James dubbed it the art of the steal. I get it.
Play on words.
Way to go there, Tisha.
Way to go.
Like it. James' lawsuit filed in the state court in New York is the culmination of a 3-year civil investigation of Trump and the Trump Organization. Trump's 3 eldest children, Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric, were also named as defendants, along with the 2 longtime company executives, Alan Weisselberg and Jeffrey McConney. The lawsuit strikes at the core of what made Trump famous, taking a backlight to the image of wealth and opulence he embraced throughout his career, using it so famously to run for president in 2016, did he not? Yes. First as a real estate developer, then as a reality TV show host, and of course, later as the president of the United States, as I just described. James wants Trump and the other defendants to pay at least $250 million, which he said was the approximate worth of the benefits it got through fraudulent practices. So Donald Trump has now been sued.
Yeah.
Now, Jason, you are probably happy about this.
Extremely happy.
I'm not saying that I'm unhappy. I'm not saying that I'm extremely happy, as Jason just said.
Mostly because this is something he's not going to be able to walk away from.
Along with the 30 others that are still ongoing.
Yeah, well, because he's already...
Of course.
He pled the fifth on this. And it can be used against him if it goes to court.
I understand this, and I agree with you. And I think that you're 100% right. And I want to take the shackles to this man.
Now, here's my
as
question.
As bad as anybody else does.
I know where you're going, and I agree with you. I don't know if it's going to rise to the criminal level. But monetarily wise, he's going to get hit. It may not be what she wanted. The court may say, no, you can't have $250 million.
I think that that's the problem for me and a lot of the people that stand where I stand. Go ahead.
You guys do realize we still have 74 million people
right.
that believe
that's nuts.
The orange man's BS, correct?
Isn't it? You know, the crazy thing about it is
there are still people that get on radio stations in St. Louis and say that Trump is still president and they can't believe it.
The steal.
But he pled the fifth on this, and they still call it a witch hunt.
Now,
that's bizarre.
How do you... Okay, so we know what the Fifth Amendment means. Mm-hmm. The Fifth Amendment means is when you're on trial that you say something that's going to incriminate you.
Yeah.
You don't do it in a deposition.
There you go.
You don't do it in a deposition.
There it is.
Because that's what he did. How it just dumbfounds me. I've listened to this man since 1994. I've heard the disgusting stuff that he said on the radio about his daughters. I've heard the stuff that he
how he used to fake his own magazine calls or whatever it was to get PR for things.
And I remember
John Barron or something like that.
He would act like he was his own private
PR guy, John Barron.
I remember how this man went on national or live television in New York and said he wanted 5 innocent black men to be put to death for a crime they didn't commit. I've seen that this man be sued over and over as a slumlord. I've seen this man talk about how when he owned the Miss America and Miss Teen pageant,
like Universe or something like that.
How
something
he
like
would
that,
go backstage to do checks.
Yeah, because he
on
could.
them. Because he could.
He could, yeah.
Because I could.
Because he could.
Hey, guys, remember, it's the famous grab him by the puss.
Yeah.
They love it.
You could say
and
that
you can
on
get
this?
away. Puss.
Yeah,
Oh.
just don't have the
You don't be stupid.
Gotcha.
Okay, hold on.
Sure.
Hold on. Shh. Everybody, shh. Listen to me. Ric Flair, you too. If you don't want to get in trouble for things, don't be stupid and do the bad thing in the first place. You okay?
To that internet radio, we could say pretty much whatever the hell we want to say, right?
Yes, I understand what you're saying, but we're on FCC airwaves, actual real broadcast airwaves. You got to be very careful.
You know what was one of the
careful.
Hear that dig.
most disgusting
No
things?
dig. You're just on the queue on Mark Bland's Fox radio show. Go ahead.
Oh, gotcha.
No, it's okay.
No, one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard him do is, have you seen the clip back in when 9/11 happened?
Oh,
about how he said he was down there?
Well, I think it was like Good Morning America or one of them. He was on live, and they're talking about it, and he breaks into now how his building is now the tallest building in Manhattan.
Oh, yeah.
And if anybody that doesn't believe us, look it up.
No.
It's on YouTube.
Nope.
Can't believe things on
That's
YouTube,
all fake.
Jason.
That's all fake news.
What high school did you go to?
It's all fake news. That's what you people from Iowa believe. That's fake news.
Iowa high schools. That's
That's
what
fake
they believe.
news.
That's fake news.
You know, people seem really disappointed when I tell them I grew up in Iowa, too, and they ask me what high school I go to. They really do.
Look,
They're
I
like,
think everybody thinks that you either play football for the Iowa Cornhuskers or that's
No,
it.
it's
Like
the
there's nothing, or Hawkeyes.
Hawkeyes.
I'm sorry, I said Iowa Cornhuskers. That's Nebraska. That's Nebraska. No, I'm just saying, like the Hawkeyes, like that's it. I feel like everybody thinks that if you're not one of those football players, you have no job in the state. Nobody's working. Nobody's sleeping. They're just wandering around. There's no movies going on there. It's just cornfields and people hoping to get out of there.
Walking down roads.
My thing with Trump is here's what it was. For all these years, we all said we wanted somebody that would speak what the American public spoke, right? We got that.
Yeah, we did.
For 6 years. And guess what? We were all like, whoa, wait a second.
That's what we sound like?
Maybe we shouldn't be saying this. We need to put a muzzle on this. I mean, look, the dude was an idiot. Okay?
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Dude was an idiot. I mean, it shows, that Trump school he had was shown to be nothing but a pyramid scheme, just like our insurance.
Everything this guy, listen, what Letitia James is taking him down for, 100% probably as accurate as accurate as anything. Did you watch, any of you watch the January 6th hearings? For 2 hours in prime time, once every, 2 weeks?
I plead the fifth.
3 weeks, whatever.
Yeah, it's
effective. No, hear me out. This is important, guys. Did you watch, any of you out there in Radio Land, I'm not talking to you two, I'm talking to everybody out there in Radio Land, okay? If you watched any of the January 6th stuff, you literally saw how, in a 2 hour period, how much information they could pack in, show you that you had no clue. You did not know half of that stuff existed. You didn't know that the video footage, some of those eyewitness testimonies, the lady who was the Capitol Police officer that was a female the first week that they did it at all, and she was like, oh yeah, they stomped me and trapped me in between the thing. Nobody ever heard about that. All they heard about was Ashley Babbitt getting shot by the Capitol Police officers. They tried to break through the door, and she's told multiple times, stop, or I will shoot.
Look, it was horrible what happened to her. Horrible.
But my point being is, look at how much they were able to pack in 2 hours.
Right.
That's what they have on Donald Trump in a 2 hour period if they want on this case here.
Right. Now.
Or January 6th, or this other case, or the document stealing stuff that we're dealing with right now. It doesn't matter what it is. They have 2 hours of that exact same thing with detailed pictures and stuff you have no clue about.
Right.
And trust me, they're not going to bring the dude to court unless they really, really have him dead to rights. It's, guys, I want everyone out there to understand something. When I take what Jason feels and hopes is going to happen, and I say, listen, it's probably not going to happen. This is just going to keep getting strung out an extra week here, month there. Before you know it, another year and a half is gone from today.
Dead before he's
we'll be in the beginning of 2024 talking about who's going to be running for president in just 8 months.
Right.
And by then they'll be trying to bring him to court on this stuff to make it happen. And by then the American people will have been washed into the media of the next presidential run. Outside of his name resonating as a former president, he's going to be able to go behind the doors and just go, I'm plea bargaining. I'm going to throw it. And like I said on the other show, Jay, I don't know if the problem with the plea bargain for Trump is you better have enough dirt on them to throw them under the bus worse than they can throw you under the bus. Because right now, it doesn't look like you got anything on anyone else.
Or anyone
that's in America that we can get at that is a part of any organization here.
Here's what we've seen with the January 6th, okay? We saw that. Now, look, this is why I like coming on the Q, Mark. We're three middle-aged white men on this show, right? But if that would have been a bunch of African Americans and minorities doing what people like us were doing on January 6th, it would have been a bloodbath in the Capitol.
No, they would have shot them.
They'd have shot every single one of them. And what we've seen in the January...
Or at least some of them.
It's the truth. You can hate
more than just one.
I don't disagree with you.
And you could say that I'm a white
I'm just kind of
white. You can say whatever you want. It's the truth. If you open your eyes up, you could see it. And what we saw through this January 6th and what Mrs. Jones just showed, Trump started all of that. Trump is the main person behind all of that. Yep. And if you look at the pure definition of a terrorist, it shows striking fear against your enemy.
Yeah. Well, he's already doing it when
that's what he did.
They ask him about
that was an act
things.
of terrorism, basically, in my opinion.
Can I go and ask you a question real quick? Because it kind of leads into something else. You brought up about the woke thing earlier, and then you now said I could be a self-hating white person, what all you want, what did this say now? One thing that I have noticed recently that is kind of getting out of hand, and I feel is the pendulum swinging too far back the other way,
okay,
is the woke aspect is now starting to become weaponized And now every little thing that happened, I recently heard an interview. John Hamm just put out a new movie called Fletch Confess.
Yeah, he's Fletch now.
He's Fletch now, which, by the way, I saw it last night.
Is it good?
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
I do want to see.
I really feel that after watching Fletch with John Hamm and him nailing the comedy spots the way that Chevy would, I feel that John Hamm might be the most natural to slip into those shoes of the next Chevy. As far as, like, if they were to do, I would honestly be willing to give John Hamm a shot after watching Fletch Confess or whatever it's called. I would be willing to give him a shot to remake National Lampoon Vacation, the original. I'd be willing to give him the shot.
I don't know about that.
I'm not saying it would come off great. I'm not. I make no guarantees. Based off what I saw, the ability to step into that character, those styles of characters, and play it off properly, timing wise, and everything. I feel he's got it. I don't know how he would be recepted because of such an iconic character and movie and all that, but I know that he's got it. One of the things he brought up, Dirty, and this might stream into our next after the break, was that while he was on the show, when he was first presented with Fletch, he loved the idea. So then when they started going into production and putting it together and this, that, and the other, he said that the biggest issue that they ran into was the studio kept coming back to them and going, well, this isn't diverse enough. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And he's sitting there with the other producers, directors, whatever, like that. And the studio's telling them, oh, well, we want it to be less focused on the 40-year-old white guy who's got problems. And he's like, that's the character. Like,
the name of the movie.
The movie's called Fletch. The story is of Fletch, the 40-year-old white guy who, like, stumbles into problems but fixes himself in the end, right? This is the old Pink Panther idea of how a movie is. And it's like, that's what you have. And he's like, I don't know what you're looking for. We have tons of great actors and actresses of many diverse cultures that are inside this movie. By the way, they did. There was a lot of different people that were in that movie from different diverse cultures and everything else. So it seemed like it was a natural... It was one of those, we've swung the pendulum back this far. I got into a discussion with somebody, Dirty, and they were yelling at me because I was basically pointing out the fact that some white guy rused them into believing some stuff over the last few years, a guy named Sean King. And I said, I warned you guys about him in 2014, but you wouldn't listen because you were too busy, like, arguing about other things and doing this, that, and the other. And they just came back at me and they're like, oh, well, you a racist. And it was like, wait, whoa. The guy that's trying to stop them from abusing your culture financially for gain.
Yeah.
I alert you to that. Now I'm a racist because you can't get at him and you're mad at him. You can talk to me. And that's what you want to say to him because I know I'm not racist.
No.
Jay's not racist. Dirty's not racist.
Listen, where I work at,
Yeah.
I am literally...
You know black people?
I'm literally the only white person that works here that's not in management.
You got black friends? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I have... Yeah,
Way to go.
I have a few.
There you
But
go.
no, okay, so like the woke
Hold
thing.
on.
Okay.
Put a pin in it. We're going to take a quick break here on the queue. When we come back, Dirty is going to give us his impressions of what I just laid out on the table. I want to hear his opinions on swinging the pendulum too far, the woke being weaponized. We'll be back on the queue after this. Welcome back to the queue. Mark Bland, Jay Call over there. You're listening to us, sponsored by John Beal Roofing. And we are in the midst of a discussion of epic proportions. Right now, I've got my boy Dirty over there. And I just laid out the woke aspect. I feel that the pendulum has been swung too far on the woke idea of things too far. And now racism is being weaponized against other cultures in a backlash more than anything else. Now, not saying that there isn't poking the bear in the area. Remember, we did the famous art, the story last week on the show about the AI that has now been able to switch the entire trailer over to the most white version or like colorless version of like this.
Little Mermaid.
And they did it with a deepfake with AI, and it's like, yeah, there's going to be these poking of the bear, but this is like part of society. It's happening all the time. Now I'm just seeing like the random yell of it's racist or that's not diverse enough. You're being racist. You're against us. It's like, I don't know where this is coming from. So what do you got for me?
So let's look at it like this. Let's look at it this way. You have a comedian that makes a joke about another. You have Chris Rock makes a joke about Jada Pinkett. Will Smith literally walks up on stage, smacks the man.
Yes, he did.
Now you can't have comedians making jokes. You have Dave Chappelle, which I was never a Dave Chappelle fan.
Do you think okay, so now that we can look real quick, before we go back any further on the Dave Chappelle thing, we'll just put a pin in Dave Chappelle. I like where you're at. Just real quick, question, so we don't forget. On this Chris Rock thing, now that a few months have gone by, and there really hasn't, I mean, aside from Will trying to apologize and the talk that happened right after for that first couple of weeks, right after, where everybody was talking in the nation about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, okay? I don't think that comedy has taken the hit you made it sound like.
Oh, well, let me explain that.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think,
okay.
Since now in hindsight, I feel like actually that situation made people realize that was just a joke. Like Will really went over the top. Like, I feel like it actually indelled in people more the idea that it's okay to have funny jokes being told in front of us if we choose to be there. Like, deal with it.
Now, with that being said, Dave Chappelle in his most recent comedy sketch show back in October made the joke saying everybody should have a transgender friend. And started making jokes about being transgender and how it is the
which is what Dave Chappelle has been chastised for the last decade straight, his transgender problem.
So, but now you're looking at it that, I mean, a comedian can't say anything anymore because everybody takes it so offensive. Again, I go back to the thing. An opinion is opinion. Your opinion, my opinion is my opinion. Your opinion's your opinion. Jay's opinion's his opinion. Doesn't mean any one of our three opinions are right?
Correct.
But, like, look at the movie Blazing Saddles. Do you think they could redo Blazing Saddles?
Not.
Why not? It's a movie.
Well,
but in today's day and age,
they
couldn't.
And no, and I'll tell you why. I watch raunchy comedy movies that are 2022 made, that are every bit as deep as those type of movies.
It's a different kind of raunchy.
It's
I'm just saying, but you can't. But you can't. No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like. That raunch factor, what we choose to focus on as the topic for our raunch in 2022 is just different topics as opposed to 1972.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same point, you can still do that movie, have it put out in theaters, people could pay to come see it. You're not going out of your way to, like, put it on at children's high schools and stuff. Like, it's just pay to play.
You just could. I don't think you could.
You don't think you could?
No.
I think you really could.
But and here's why
I mean, you could. I just don't know how well it would be.
But
maybe we should do that.
But I mean, like Dave
Maybe
Chappelle.
we should find a classic script that is really edgy, like Blazing Saddles, and the three of us redo it.
Prime example. Eddie Murphy couldn't do Delirious, couldn't do Raw now.
Well, no, yeah, they could. That's what I'm saying. Dave Chappelle, listen. Dave Chappelle's issue is a little different than every other comedian's. The reason is Dave did it up front without context, then came back on specials after that multiple times, 2 times now. The special you're talking about and the one right before that, or like a couple before that.
But Chappelle's always done that, though.
But he's always been chastised for this trans woman situation. So it's never like he was ever not allowed to do it. Yeah. But he was able to come back. His problem is he comes back and doubles down on the next show each time. And so if he just didn't do that, it wouldn't be a thing. It'd be like, yeah, I have a comedy special where that happened. People can watch it if they want. Okay, I still agree with it.
But here's what I'm saying. This is how Dave explains it.
He still agrees with it.
Here's what how Dave explains it. He goes, how come that a gay actor or a gay comedian can make those remarks, nothing happens to him? A black comedian can say the N-word, nothing happens to him. A white comedian, they can't say the N-word or make a racial joke or a transgender joke.
Oh, I watched Ari Shaffir, who is a well-known stand-up comedian. And he put out a double episode show, stand-up special on Netflix this past week. It's the first one he's done in a while. Ari's famous for 2 things in comedy. There's only 2 things Ari's famous for. One, when he started his career, he went around as the whatever Jew. He would go around and do really edgy racial comedy against Jewish people. Like, literally, that was his thing. Like, just cracking jokes left and right. Now, at the beginning of this latest comedy special, Ari cracks 2 Jewish jokes. Straight up, goes for the Hitler, goes for the oven, does it. Exactly as I programmed. You go look at his show, listen to the joke.
Right.
Like, he goes for the gusto. You can do it. Like, you can still do it. Now, Ari's other thing he's famous for is standing on stage with Joe Rogan as they screwed Carlos Mencia over at one of his shows one night to yell at him and say he was stealing jokes.
Right.
That's the other thing. And it was Ari's jokes, supposedly, he was stealing because Joe went up to defend Ari.
Right.
Because Ari's the one who started it.
Again, it goes back to it's always that
But you
double
can
standard.
do it, is what I'm saying, is you can still do it today.
Depends on the person. Depends on the person. Like, okay, here, prime
Maybe
example.
the people
Hold on.
you want to be able to do it can't do it, but there are people that can.
No. Prime example. We'll go back to your sister station over here, right?
Okay, yes.
If that would have been Howard Stern
Right.
saying that to Robin,
On XM.
guess what would have happened? It would have just said, oh, Robin and Howard got into a fight.
Because of who it is.
But who it is.
You're right. You're right.
Okay? It would be off air.
Oh, listen. For anybody out there, me and Dirty have talked about this on the air before. We're both fans of Howard Stern. Howard was extremely influential to the point where at a time period in St. Louis in the early 90s when he wasn't even on the air in St. Louis and you couldn't really catch him here, I had people sending me cassette tapes in the mail so I could listen to his shows. They would record them for me off the radio.
Remember, what was it, in the very early 90s?
Network.
Well, in the very early 90s on KPLR, they used to show his Channel 9 show.
The Channel 9 show.
That would
but
be
it's
on
just
like
this
at midnight.
whole new woke. And I got nothing against the whole new woke thing, whatever.
But what you brought up about Howard and who it is, specifically, the reason I brought that up was, dude, Micah, the actor, Michael Rappaport, who looks just like me almost. Michael Rappaport comes on the show all the time, and in the last couple of years specifically, he has decided that he is just going to tear into Gary, the producer.
Yeah, right. He sure does, doesn't he?
Hardcore. But here's the thing, like, it's all stemmed out of their, like, they always try to bring other side stuff into it, but it all started at their fantasy football league and some stuff that went down.
Right.
Like, that's where it all starts. But dude, the things he calls Gary and says on Howard's show on a phone call, and this is a famous actor from movies I respect and like.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my God.
It's just funny.
But because it's on Howard,
right?
Everybody's like, that's on satellite, Sirius, do whatever you want there. I don't care.
Like that argument that we heard earlier, we've heard that on that show hundreds of
But
times.
I think that the argument is never about fame and money. It's about the optics of how everybody is going to maintain your fame for you in their eyes or not.
Like, look,
and if you say something wrong, that's it. We're not going to maintain your fame anymore.
Again, I'm going to go back. It's the whole new white wokeness, self-hating stuff, right? I was just out in Chesterfield. There was a guy sitting at a table at a very famous,
popular
place over there in Chesterfield. They don't pay you, so I'm not going to give him a plug. Sitting there praying over his food. This white guy walks up to him and starts berating this guy.
Because he's praying?
Before he's praying over his food. I get out of the car and I go, it's people like you why we have the problems that we have today.
Yeah,
because you think you are better than everybody else. And we've gotten to a point.
Yeah, I don't know why a person would just randomly walk up to another person who's kind of off to their own, just praying to themselves.
And then the police come up.
And then just have to create a problem with the police and stuff like that. That doesn't make any sense to me.
The funny line, he looked at the cop, he goes, I back I support the badge and Blue Lives Matter. The cop looked at his skin, he goes, I'm not blue, you got 30 seconds to leave. Or I'm taking you to jail.
Oh, dude.
So I was just laughing.
People don't know what my wife does for a living, and I will keep it that way. But I will tell you this. It cracks us up in conversations we have privately, and I don't mind saying this publicly. The people that'll put the Blue Lives sticker or the benevolent police, I support the benevolent police brotherhood or whatever. And they're always like, when they get pulled over, they're hoping that gets them out the ticket. And I always just laugh.
To give them like a 6 mile an hour.
Because I'm just
credit.
like, what makes you think that you're 15 to 20 over the speed limit that the cop pulled you over for is going to magically change to 2 over because you got some sticker on your car? And he goes, oh, I see you support us. Yeah. That's good. Everyone here's white anyway.
Yeah. Right.
That's great.
It's just funny because, You had Trump, and then you entitled everybody to say what the hell they wanted to say. I can say hell, right?
You sure can.
Oh, so
You're not in church, bro.
And now you have the opposite,
Or
the liberals.
church high school.
You have the liberals that will say, "Oh, what you're saying is wrong, and you can't say that." They're wokeness. So it really goes both ways.
Oh no! Like I said,
And it's just
I'm
sad
not
that
saying
people
one way or
can't
the
say
other.
what they want anymore.
For the longest time, it went one way solely. Like there was a lot of
Right.
white against black,
Yes.
and it was very obvious. And if you were anybody who was over a certain age, right, you kind of knew the way the game was being played, and you could see how the setup was. And there's nothing. Listen, Dirty did not get a call the day before he was born to ask him what he wanted, his nationality, his background.
Exactly.
That I didn't get the call, Jay didn't get the call.
Did not.
You're just born and you're white. So immediately the minute you're born white, it's, oh, well, you're racist. Why? Well, guys 150 years ago did some stuff that was really bad. But by the way, it's been going on for like 350 years. We just only really talk about the last 150 because that's the important part. That's where that's where the white people killed themselves to let black people free.
Right, yeah.
So that's the part we got to stay on is that at one time, and that's the funny thing, you never ever hear, and guys, listen, I'm not going to knock black people, but I do want to ask this question. You'll always hear the stories about the Civil War. You'll always hear the stories about the racism that led to the Civil War,
Right.
and how it got there. But you never hear a single black person in any situation stop at the end of an argument with a white person, right? That gets that goes down racial tones. You never hear a single one of them stop, or anybody, a person of color, stop and go, yeah, I guess you did free all of us and help us out.
Right, yeah.
Okay, I guess I'll just leave you alone now. Like, that never happens, and it's like, does everybody just take that as like,
Well, it's because that other half that wanted them to stay slaves are so loud. And
they are, but
ruin
there
it
was
for the
a
rest
lot
of
of
us.
people that wanted them not to be slaves,
Well,
and
yeah.
they fought and died for that. And so my thing is like, hey, maybe say thanks to those guys every once in a while. Just say thanks to them. I'm not even saying it's because they're white. I'm just saying the people at that time that fought on your behalf, you know what? Pour one out for them every once in a while. Like, to be honest, if they didn't let those white dudes get so angry at those other white dudes that they just went and decided to handle business, there'd probably still be slavery.
Isn't it kind of strange, though, that 100...
I mean, imagine if it doesn't happen during Lincoln. Can we think of another time period in history since then that maybe... I mean, I feel by the 70s or 80s, slavery would have been over anyway, the 1970s or 80s.
Well, we only hope.
So I'm wondering, like, the
Hopefully they got
40s?
bored.
Would the 40s, because of all the turmoil going on in the world, would that have been the moment where, like, slaves were free to go fight in World War II? And so because of the mass exodus and need, when they came home, everybody was just freed and just like, thank you for fighting, and we're like, everybody's fine? Like, is that how that would have gone down? I don't know. I'm just curious.
Right. I mean, look, again, it goes back to this. The problem with today's humanity, and we talked about it when we were on with Drew, when I was on with Drew, right?
Yes.
Is we've let technology take over. People only want to research what they want to research, and they only look at this. They only look at their phone. They only look to Facebook, Twitter, and stuff for their news.
That's not
and they
a
don't,
deep dive.
Right. They don't do the research. They don't go out of their way to talk to other people. It's just, oh, you say something. Oh, you're not woke. You're racist. You're being mean. Or wait, you're
engaging in a conversation at all to have a discussion about equality and culture in America? I don't want to have that conversation with you. You're racist.
Like, look,
It's
like I said.
Okay, I can't get
Is it
anywhere.
weird, though? Like, 157 years later, it's still the same guys. It's
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
the
It's
South.
still same
It's
Southern
still,
people,
like,
still-
Yeah.
157 years
Is
didn't
it something?
change.
Wait,
Take
guys,
away my
guys.
pride.
Maybe it's if you drive down highways and see an alligator every once in a while. That's what makes you feel this way. I don't know. We're gonna take a quick break here on the Q. When we come back, more with myself and our boys over here. I want to talk about Putin, man.
Oh,
This
great.
dude's on another level, and it's going to get crazy. We'll be back on the Q after this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Q. Mark Bland, Dirty from XFans, right? The XFans talk
Wednesday
show.
nights.
Wednesday nights. Where can they find you?
On Facebook, YouTube.
XFans, just XFANS.
The X Fan Show.
The XFans Show. Is it X-Fans or
No,
XFans?
it's just X.
The letter X.
Fan Show.
Fan Show.
That's right. You can find us on. And we are getting ready to launch on Twitch.
Okay.
And I said I had a big announcement about the show. We are going to be starting.
Is this the big announcement?
This is. We are going
All
to
right, here we go.
We are going to be starting a midday afternoon show.
Wow, there it is.
So more XFL news.
More content, more love for all of you. And is this once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week? What are you going to do?
We're going to see how the fans respond to it.
So if it's an everyday thing, it could be an everyday thing.
If the fans love it, we'll just keep doing it because it's about what the fans want about the XFL.
And what do the fans want from Coach, what's his name?
Coach Beck. No,
Coach Beck.
Just the fans in general want the team names and logos, which we get on Wednesday.
Why can't I get that coach from LSU that talks all weird, Gumbo?
He's not doing anything.
Not Dalbo, but the other one.
Yeah, it was Dabo Sweeney.
No, not Dabo.
No, it was like,
it's what's his name from LSU? The big.
He got fired
rough
last
guy.
year, like Marjorie or something like that.
I mean, I'm sure if you reached out to him.
He had like a Cajun name.
Like
he's from there. He's like
real,
he's from Louisiana. or
real
something.
Cajun.
I'm sure if you reached out to him, you probably could get him.
All right, so I'm not going to die for Putin. Terrified Russians begin their anti-mobilization protest after one-way tickets fleeing the country sold out following Vladimir Putin's announcement that 300,000 draft reservists will be sent to the Ukraine. That's right. Protests have sprung up in Russia after Vladimir Putin announced the mobilization of 300,000 reservists. The tyrant threatened the West with nuclear weapons over Ukraine, telling leaders, "I'm not bluffing." And he meant that. I saw the video. The move sparked panic as flights sold out as civilians tried to escape a potential call-up to war. Occupied Ukrainian territories will be annexed to Russia, he said, and all means will be used to defend them. Ukraine dismissed the threat, saying it's predictable and shows the war is not going as Putin had planned. So, all right. We had an announcement from Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
Vlad got on the squawk box, and he decided to let everyone know, Jason, that once again, he's not happy with things going the way that they're going in the world.
Mm-hmm.
He feels that Russia is being disrespected. Ukraine will fall. So he now needs to call up 300,000 people to come help fight his Ukrainian war. Now, mind you, he's calling up 300,000 more based off of what he already has. It's not 300,000 that he has to use, and he's calling them all up at the same time. No. He's already called his army to war. They're already fighting. And now he needs 300,000 more simply to guard his borders of the annexed areas that he. So basically what they're saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that Vladimir Putin has decided that he's going to any area of what is called Ukraine today that currently they have taken control of. He is going to take that and make that a new part of the border of Russia. And then he's going to station these reservists and these draftees throughout these areas to protect the land. Now, let us not forget who was the meanest, biggest, baddest guy, Jason, in 1984 in the world. Who scared everyone?
Yeah, it was the Soviet Union.
It was Soviet Union. It was Russia, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Mother Russia, the bear.
Right? Evil
Charging in, shirtless on the bareback, right?
Yeah. They attacked that town in Colorado.
Taking down people. The Buffaloes did. That's right. Colorado Buffaloes. Those are Buffaloes.
Those high school kids had to go hide in the mountains. That was a
Coach-
documentary, right?
Actually, there's a movie, the Cocaine Bear, right? Was it a bear that took too much cocaine?
Yeah.
Went running all over.
And went run. Tell you right, they just released a movie that's going on to Netflix called Cocaine Bear or whatever. It's the story of that situation. They made basically a made-for-TV movie, basically, about that. It's funny that you broke that out of all of that. I'm just saying, but basically, he's going to try to annex it. So that means for the one country that he said was going to be easy to topple and was going to be no problem, for the almighty superpower that is Russia. He doesn't have enough army troops currently. So imagine if we had just started a war with him 5 years ago. just straight up. Like, let's go.
You're gonna run
toe
out
to
of
toe.
troops.
We would just run them over. The United States would just run them over. Like, we would just take their territory. Like, it'd be, that's it. You're Freedom Land Part 2 now. Call you America 2.
Well, look how there are.
Would we change the name from Russia if America invaded Russia and took it over? Would we let it stand as the name Russia, or would we change it to something more Americanized?
It'd be
other America.
Freedom Land.
No, it'd be America 2.
America 2.
America 2.
Flag country.
Murica. America 2.
2.
The number sign 2. America number 2.
They can only spell America.
Oh, hey, I found earlier Ed Orgeron. That's the guy that you
that's
want.
it. Ed
Yeah,
Orgeron.
I couldn't remember his name. I knew it was one of those guys.
Let's really look at this.
Go Hogs.
Let's really look at this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember back in like 79?
Yeah.
Didn't Russia try to start a war with another country that eventually came and bombed us?
Yeah, they did.
Afghanistan?
Well,
It didn't work out so well for them.
They allowed the Taliban in there.
I'm just saying, that whole area, the Middle East,
then
they
we
tried.
then America, we gave them their guns
because
and
their
all
plan
that
at
stuff.
that time, Mikhail Gorbachev and them was, we're going to go take over these easy to find countries.
We're going to go take over these easy guys.
But here's the problem. The problem every single time is they have black markets. That's the kicker for the Middle East. They are the black market. They literally are the place everybody goes to dump all their nuclear weapons to sell to other places secretly. So if you want to start a war with someplace, not the place that you, as well as all the other bad guys, are selling weapons to over the last 25 years.
And it's hard. It's hard to invade.
And don't sell them nuclear weapons either.
Right, yeah.
Okay. But I still find it.
But anyways,
it was laughable right off the bat when they
10
invaded
years.
Ukraine with Scud missiles. That was
Right,
it. Scud
exactly.
missiles,
But
dude.
look, I mean, okay, here, look. We see Russia do this a lot, right?
Poise.
Since
beat their chest.
Right.
Yeah,
since
they do.
Stalin,
Joseph Stalin.
Joseph Stalin died, right?
Yeah.
Russia's been kind of some handsies and can't ever finish a war. If you really think about it.
I don't think that they really try to battle anyone.
No, they just try to take stuff over and they can't do it. It takes them 20, 30 years.
They're very sneaky.
I feel like the whole world has moved forward. Now, I heard an interesting thing about Queen Elizabeth right after she died. That the last 30 to 40 years of her reign, let's just say these last 40 years since 1980, okay? The last 40 years of her reign were less tumultuous and less problematic in general for her as queen than the first 50 before it, or 30 or 40 or whatever it is before that. And the reason being that we as a society, at one point it was war, pestilence. These were the problems, starvation, things like that. These were the problems that were plaguing the earth. This is the things that everybody wanted to fight with each other about. And because of technology and the way that we've moved forward in the 20th century specifically, in literally a 60-year period, they cut down the potential for war between random countries, as well as the rhetoric in general of war between countries. Naturally, society just moved in the direction of almost 80% less.
Now look, remember,
80% less down over a 60-year period to where we're like literally right now, 80% of the time, 80% of the talk, banter, and the discussion,
right?
Nothing to do with wars, starvation, pestilence. We're fixing problems. We're moving on as societies. Like things are getting better. You don't have. How hard is it to just sit there and spend all your money and bang hot chicks because you're the president of Russia?
And I ride on a bear shirtless.
That's what I'm talking about. Like what I remember in 2015, the stories of him commissioning paintings of him bareback on like horses with like cherubs and stuff.
He was definitely
and
bareback. He
Dan
definitely likes
Walsh
bareback.
doing the Vladimir Putin voice on our show, and like it was just like simple times, and now it's I'm gonna bomb the world and no one can stop me.
Okay,
but Ukraine could. Like Ukraine could. They feasibly could. They already are.
How bad do you think Russia feels, right? You said you had all these allies, right?
Sure, they got a lot of bad guys that love them.
Look, Iraq ain't helping them.
No.
Iran's not helping them.
No, nobody's helping. China's not.
China says
all China keeps doing is going, if that guy decides to be stupid,
we're not getting
we're
involved.
going to go do something over here.
Right.
And we keep telling you exactly what it is.
And
And it's
then-
like, hey, China, do you really want to go to the United States to war over an island nation?
Well, that's-
like,
yeah.
literally? Like, really?
Well, then Sleepy
By the
Joe
way,
just says,
an island nation that has provided like 30% of your wealth over the last 25 years
Right.
specifically? This don't make no sense.
It makes me wonder what happened with that meeting with China. It was with President Xi, because it followed this. Like, after he met with them,
I feel like anytime a meeting happens within a month before something goes down, most of the time I feel like the last 10 minutes of that conversation is always, all right, so I'm thinking about bombing Ukraine and taking it over. How you feeling, Xi? You need another smoothie, or
and it makes me
feeling
wonder. Like,
okay?
he didn't get the info that he wanted, or he didn't get the reception he thought he would get. So now
and
he
you
made
can see,
a
like you
bold
said,
move.
China's been quiet. China's
Real
being
quiet.
real quiet.
well, yeah, because China said, hey, we're going to go into the Philippines, and then Sleepy Joe just announced, oh, if you do that, obligation because of the treaties.
Wait. The China said they're going to do what?
But what was the city? What was the country that China
Taiwan.
said? Taiwan.
Yeah, they got a big.
Okay, so they were supposed to go into Taiwan, right?
Yep, they were always going to try to take it back
right.
over.
And Sleepy Joe said, hey, listen, due to all the stuff that we got, the U.S. has to come in and be military fighters for them. And then China's like, yeah, no, we're good.
Yeah.
Well, see, the
We're
problem
good.
with Taiwan isn't so much the government side of it. It really is the people. They were under British rule for 80 years. And then they, like, literally, the contract came up. There was no renewal. They were freed to be their own nation. And the problem is that Taiwan, before the treaty and the deal with Great Britain,
Was part of China.
was part of China. And they were told that when the situation was done, it was open to them to work it out with China on how this was going to be relinquished, but they were just going to unoccupy. And so when they unoccupied, it was just like, China was like, all right, you guys are ready to this. And Taiwan's all the people are just like, no, we really like normal. I really like Benny Hill. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really.
China's like,
I thought Benny Hill and the IT crowd, the IT crowd, was the best
Right.
thing going on TV.
China was like, okay, cool. You guys can stay democracy. We just get 30% of your income for all of your
Except
export.
that's not what they want. They want the people to be beholden to them too, and that's where the problem
now they
is.
are, but
Well, now they are even more. Like,
Right,
it's
yeah.
just twice as bad. Now it's, oh, you refuse to be beholden to us? Now we want to make you beholden to
Right.
us. And it's like, okay, yeah, the heart wants what the heart wants, but it doesn't always work.
right. I mean, like South Korea. I mean,
Jesus.
you'll have troops sitting there on Thailand, and China's like already going, all right, well, if America's going to be sitting there, we're kind of good then.
Now, the problem that we have is that the other one that we have to worry about up that way is Japan. Japan does play major on the, not so much, yes, they are big in technology, but not as much as Taiwan or South Korea and Samsung and places like that. Where Japan comes in is like the economic side of things, like the backbone of the internet and all the high-end financials that run through their supercomputers and towers that they have there to literally house stuff for all these corporations.
I mean,
if they get bombed, wealth could go away instantaneously. Like your bank account, my bank account, your bank account, zeroed. And it's like, we have no way to stop it. We have no way to get it back. And we will have nothing unless you have it in your hand at that moment, which is just going to put everybody in peril. It won't be some people. Yeah, there'll be a couple people like, I was always a cash guy before the fallout. It's like, shut up, loser.
my gold.
My buckets
My
of gold.
buckets, I got
my
gold.
gold.
I'm a prepper. Yeah,
used to
there's
listen to
preppers.
Rush Limbaugh. Now I
So
have
listen,
buckets
the
of
people
gold.
that have all the cash to use, they're just going to be living in underground bunkers for the next 5 years. So they're not going to help you out anyway.
Sandy Hook was fake.
Sandy Hook was fake.
Now I'm getting sued. Now
Frogs
it's
are
not fake.
gay. Frogs are gay.
No, fish. Fish.
Listen, fish are... No, it was frogs. Frogs
Did
are
he say
gay.
frogs too? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, he said frogs.
the
Frogs are
water
gay.
or
Frogs
whatever.
are gay. Sir, did you just say frogs are gay? Because your daughter and son are going to... Oh, I'm sorry. It's all fake. It's all fake. No, that's true. No, that's true at all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break here on The Q. When we come back, more with myself and our friend Dirty and our friend Jason. We are going to get out of here on this show. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO. You are listening to The Q. I am Mark Bland. You can check us out at theqnow.com. Sponsored by John Beal Roofing, 1-800-JOHN-BEAL for all your roofing needs. Joined today, Dirty is here along with our boy Jake Hall. And we are I'm sorry, I just keep forgetting.
That's okay. I just made a random noise.
Random noises that don't mean anything.
No, it didn't mean anything at all.
You know, it's funny. I really want to talk about DeSantis and these migrants.
Oh God, please!
This is such a political stunt. But here's what I want to say. I think it's just really weird that a guy goes out of his way to grab people from a different city that has nothing to do with his state, pay out of his own pocket to send them to another city that has nothing to do with them, then get butthurt about what happens with them after the fact, all the while allowing everyone to believe up front that this was some type of you're taking illegals from here and you're putting them there and you're making it this way. You know what I'm saying? Like you're really sticking it to the guy and showing everybody what they deserve. And it's like, but then you come to find out on subsequent news stories that it was voluntary. I think they were like offered the opportunity to go to Martha's Vineyard if they would to, and they said, yeah, sure.
Well, they told them they were taking them to Boston for jobs.
Yeah, sure, up that direction.
And then in air, they told them, no, we're landing at Martha's Vineyard.
Now see, I did not hear that piece.
That's why this lawsuit was filed by these couple of attorneys.
Well, it's just funny to me because it's like it is a political ploy.
You know why I hate Ron DeSantis? Tell me if you
because he looks like those people that you just get the
I'm going to tell you.
feeling
And
about.
once I say this, I hope you agree with me.
Right, Dirty?
He reminds me.
Yes,
he reminds me of the bad guy in every John Cusack 80s comedy. He's the bad guy.
Oh, the bulbous principal? Yeah, sure.
Just anybody like any antagonist in those movies looks like Ron DeSantis and acts like Ron DeSantis.
I've said on the show, I think maybe, Jay, you were on the last show where I did say this. There is an aesthetic vibe to antagonistic style people.
Yeah.
And I talked about the idea of, yes, dogs aren't bad. Pit bulls seem to be more dangerous, but I'll take a pit bull with a color to their sheen, to their skin, or to their coat, as opposed to one that's completely white with red jaws. The bright red jaws that stick out extra to make you know, I bite, and I love to bite, and I use
really
these jaws.
hard.
Like, I bite really. That dog has an aesthetic look to it that is more dangerous looking to me, right? It's always the scary red-eyed dog that's just eating everything.
DeSantis has that aesthetic look that says he's a giant jerk.
Yeah, it's just got that bulbous, bloated face that just says, I don't care about anything or anyone except for the woman I've been lying to.
You know what he looks like? He looks like a more handsome Rod Blagojevich.
But he looks like
more handsome? I don't know if more handsome, but Blagojevich is, ugh.
What he
But
looks
he's got that
like
hair.
is that old Jewish guy from New York that went to Florida.
Whoa,
to die,
sir, I'm gonna have
and
to
then
cut
got
your
the tan.
I'm gonna have to cut your comedy off. It's too edgy for this show in 2022.
Hey, listen, I mean,
you're
I
not
wanna
allowed
retire.
to say the word Jewish or Jew or anything like that.
What's their national? What
you're
call
fine.
Them, do I call them
Whatever.
Hebrew?
You can call him whatever you want.
I mean, that's what they are, but that's what he
Ron
looks
DeSantis.
like.
Call him Ron DeSantis.
He literally he looks like Uncle Leo.
He does. Well,
He looks like Uncle Leo from Seinfeld that went to Florida, got a bunch of plastic surgery, now looks like Joan
here's
Rivers
the thing.
with a big swollen
Hans
head.
You said
Wyman.
Seinfeld. Okay, so Jerry Stiller, Ben Stiller's dad.
Yeah.
He looks, his aesthetic look, and the guys that I've seen growing up in my life around that look like him and down that road, that Jewish hair with all that.
Right.
Those guys like to yell at people and get in their face. Now, I know he did it on the show, but that's because that's literally the aesthetic that just dictates in regular life. Yeah. Like, he's been getting in people's faces when he was in his 20s. Like, it doesn't matter what year it was or if it was a TV show or not. Like, that's just Jerry Stiller.
Yeah.
Some people have a look to him. And
I mean,
it is what it is.
that's what he looks
It
like.
works for him.
All right, so
Or
guys,
works for
before
him.
we get out of here on this show, I have some unpopular opinions that are just sitting here.
This is always my favorite.
These are
part.
scintillating unpopular opinions.
Is it tickling?
It's titillizing. It's titillizing. That's right.
Should we kick back and relax?
Grab him by the puss. All right, here we go. Some unpopular opinions. Let's see where we land. There's 3 of us here.
Okay.
So there's even voting. All right?
Okay.
There will be a winner some way or somehow.
We're going to do this.
Cigarettes, number 1. Cigarettes should be banned completely, no exceptions. Cigarettes should be banned completely, no exceptions.
I don't know.
That's just the straight up opinion.
I don't smoke, so either way, I don't care about it.
But you got to answer. You can't say that.
No, I don't think you can ban cigarettes completely. It's not a health hazard that you don't have a choice.
Why do we have a problem with other people choosing to put themselves in their own situation with a product that's legalized? Okay, you're a sports guy. You love baseball, right, Sammy Sosa? Let's talk about the home runs. We got Aaron Judge on the edge of 61 in Roger Maris.
Yeah.
Now, the argument has been since the steroid era that we like to call it. The problem I have with calling the McGwire Sosa days the steroid era is literally we're hanging it on one summer where the home run race happened. And there were people that were doing steroids throughout the 80s and 90s all the time. At the time that they had their home run race, the HGH was not a banned substance at all.
No,
at
they
that
weren't
time.
doing HGH. They were doing the other stuff.
But they weren't doing.
Steroids weren't banned at the time.
But they weren't doing whatever they were doing was not a banned substance at the time.
Right.
What did McGwire end with? How many home runs? 71?
No, 70.
70 that year.
It was 70.
Bonds got it with 63 or 73.
Bonds got it with
like
70.
3 years later.
So Mark McGwire's 70. Technically, in my opinion, and it's not because I'm a Cardinals fan. It's not because he did it here. It's literally because at the time, this is why Pete Rose is not allowed in the Hall of Fame. The bylaws literally said you cannot gamble on baseball. You are not allowed to bet on games.
Yes.
That's what the bylaw said. That's why he's still in the thing. This was not a bylaw. There was no banned substance that they were on. Yes, steroids were banned. They weren't doing steroids. The stuff that they showed and proved that they were using at the time.
Started with an A. What was it?
Androstein or whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what he put in his locker.
So my point being, his 70 is still what Aaron Judge should be trying to reach.
No, 73.
Now,
Yeah. Well, it wasn't against
I
the
have a
rules
problem
when
with the
Bonds did it.
73
Why?
because by the time Bond starts to make his move, 5 to 6 years later.
It was 3 years later.
3 years.
No, I'm just when he broke the home run.
Yeah, 3
it
years.
was-
Okay,
it was
okay.
super fast.
I'm just saying, a few years later. By that time, the steroid era had already come out. They had already been talking about
No,
it
he
with
had,
Congress. Remember, Mark
was
McGwire.
2005.
Mark McGwire famously wanted to move past. He didn't want to talk about the past. He wanted to talk about today and moving forward.
They
Started
testing in 2004.
Right. I'm going to take umbrage
So
to
you're
that.
saying that Bonds
Bonds is look.
still legit.
Well, I
Did
mean,
Bond- did
Even
Bond-
though they tied him to Balco and could prove that the stuff he was
Hold
taking
on.
at
I
the
mean,
time
it's
of the home
legit,
runs,
Wait,
but-
hold
at
on.
the time of the home runs, that stuff from
Nah.
Balco was illegal.
Hold on. Hold
Oh.
on. Did he ever test positive for steroids? Did Barry Bonds ever fail a test?
The argument was
Question is, did Bonds ever fail
in the
a test?
reality of the world that we live in, Barry Bonds never tested negative, or he never tested positive on
So
a
then-
steroids test. Now, except for when the Balco stuff come out, they said Balco was helping fund getting his your
that was the whole
your
point of that
analysis through anyway. So here's the problem. I got too many. Listen, where there's smoke, there's fire, and
I
we
agree.
know about Bonds. We know that you did steroids. Don't mess with us. We're good. We all understand how easy it is to get muscles versus not, and most of us don't do it. That's why we got guts and we pay to see you do it. Okay, so we all understand you were doing steroids, just like Mark. Listen. You all yelled at Jose Canseco and told him he was a piece of trash. You all owe Jose Canseco the biggest debt of gratitude, and he needs his green jacket at the Masters, and he needs to go into the Hall of Fame.
I'm
he
not a
needs to
Bonds-
go into the Hall of Fame. he
Listen,
needs both.
Listen,
he needs both.
Look.
Because he was honest. He named names. He's like, those
Right.
guys, and they all said, no, that guy's a
The whole
liar.
Balco
Right?
thing,
Turned
the
around
whole
5 years
Balco
later,
thing
oh,
with
yeah.
Bonds. Look, my opinion is Bonds is still the record holder. As much as I don't like it, I'm on the same boat as you. Is he was linked to it? Yes. But the dude in his 20 years of baseball never tested positive for steroids.
There it is.
So there you go.
That's fair.
So the record you have to look at, as much as I hate to say it, it's Barry Bonds' record. Now, if you really want to split it, apple for apples, orange slices for orange slice, potato, tomato, whatever, however you want to say it, then Babe Ruth still has the record of 714 because
I take umbrage with that.
Hold on.
I didn't get to talk about it on the last show. I wanted to. It was a story I never got to. I saw a graphic. No, it's important that we have this conversation right now.
But
Go ahead and finish your
Babe
point.
Ruth
Finish your point.
did it in 140 games, playing in a 140 game season, where
Babe Ruth. I love Babe Ruth. I love the mythic nostalgia of
Babe
what
Ruth
Babe.
was a baseball player, anyways.
Okay. My problem with
That
Babe
could
Ruth
be true. He had a
is
nickname.
we're talking about a guy that was famous for smoking cigars in the dugout,
And wearing meat on his head.
wearing
from being
meat on his
hungover.
head if he wanted to because he's hungover, literally eating hot dogs in the dugout that he would buy out of the stands and eat them
Famously, stories are true.
on the pitch mound eating a hot dog while pitching some pitches. Like, this dude was not in shape, but like for some reason I watched this infographic, right? From the beginning of baseball time, all the home run hitters. And
I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it was changing.
And then all of a sudden, in this like 3-year period, like 4-year period or something like that, it's like 300 home runs for Babe Ruth. And I'm like, nobody's pitching to you. I understand Satchel Paige and them existed. Stop this. You were hitting first off, you're hitting places like Sportsman's Park. You're not hitting real ballparks. You're hitting, first off, like a baseball field that had stands put around it because it's 1920, nobody cares. They're just trying to figure out something to do because the internet hasn't been invented yet, okay? So, like, stop this. You got doggers pitching to you, bro, and you're smacking them out. Now, you're a great hitter and a home run legend.
But Babe Ruth would tell you he's
But
not the
I'm
greatest.
not going to sit here and give you those 700 anything.
here's
Although a few of those parks
really
he played
don't
in,
want to.
like Wrigley and Fenway, people are still playing in.
Sure.
Right.
No. I'm not saying that there weren't parks. I'm saying for his time period, the players he's playing against, do you really think a Babe Ruth today, as good as Albert Pujols is, as good as these guys are right now, Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, all of them, like
Sports
as good
Science
as they are,
showed it, yes.
do you think today that if Babe Ruth was in this league getting 102-mile-an-hour pitches that are curves, not just 102-mile-an-hour straight fastballs, because that's what most guys had.
Yeah.
A lot of guys didn't have movement back in the day because it wasn't like a focused part of the game. People did have movement, but it was specific people that had honed that skill. It wasn't something that the coaches focused on and were like, oh, you're going to be a slider guy.
Well, he would have prepared.
There's like
differently.
12
Hey, listen,
different pitches
hold
now.
on. This
Do
is
you
why-
really think with 12 different pitches,
Well, he
Babe
would have
Ruth hits the
prepared
same
us.
amount of home runs?
This is why I like
I'm
to
asking.
show. This is why I like to show
I'm asking.
Sports Science, right? They did a thing on Sports Science
Okay.
showing that baseball is the only sport where players from yesteryear could still play in today's game with all of the stuff that
'Cause the
today
basic
has.
game's the
because
same.
It's
Because the basic
game.
style of the game
Yes,
is the same. As
exactly.
long as my point is we all know the style of pitchers and pitching
Doesn't
abilities
matter,
today.
man. It don't
I
matter.
don't think with that much more being thrown at Babe
The only thing
to like route through, he would be as good.
the one thing I
just
say in
Pitcher, he might have been a great pitcher still.
Well,
I don't know.
In
Like,
Babe Ruth's defense, when he played, there were only 7 other teams in his league.
that's true.
Exactly.
That's
so he
true.
played against the best pitchers that were available at that time.
At that time, though, did he? Because there's still a time
Well, yeah,
period
there were only
that
They
7
said
other
that,
teams.
Listen, they
the
said
reason
that,
that
Cy
they're
Young-
called the Gaslight Gang in St. Louis is because they live down by Gaslight Square.
Right.
That's where all the baseball players lived. Okay. There were in the Gaslight Gang, I think 3 or 4 of the starters still had full-time jobs that they physically did during the day,
Well,
and then on their
yeah.
baseball
Well, yeah,
There's
game.
a lot of
getting
sports
money.
athletes
Okay,
back then.
that's my point. They don't do any of that now. Like, these guys had real jobs. These were just dudes from the
That's why
neighborhood.
those
It wasn't
baseball players
the
were
best.
much better.
No, what I'm saying is
Babe Ruth wasn't playing baseball since he was 4.
what I'm saying is guys
There
that,
are baseball players today that have been playing since they're
All right,
4.
here.
No, guys that play today are playing against way more teams, which means there's way more pitchers that probably shouldn't be in the major leagues.
Wait, how did we get onto this when the topic
We were
was
doing
smoking?
unpopular opinions.
Let's say if you
cigarette
take
smoking.
say
I
he
don't know. I really don't.
say Babe Ruth hit against
But we're at the end of the
80,
show.
80 pitchers total in a complete year.
Yes.
That of those 7 teams, they employed 80 pitchers total.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So take guys today. Well, what do they hit against the best 80 pitchers in their league?
By the
I
way-
bet it's a lot lower than what their total numbers
By the way,
are.
back then, no closers. You just pitched
Exactly.
an entire
That
game.
is true,
Prime
too.
example. Look, you got guys like Stan Musial, Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio that lost 2, 3, 4 years of their career.
Yeah, they went
Ted Williams
To go to war.
came back And we're still
Yeah.
some of the best
And
hitters
then-
in the world.
And then left again for a year.
Muhammad
during
Ali
the Korean
left,
War.
went to the Army, came back, still won the world title back
Exactly.
a few
So
times.
that's what I'm
like,
saying.
Those guys were great.
Like, I understand that athletes evolve.
Sure.
But baseball is that one where baseball is the only sport that is still one-on-one. It's a pitcher
Yeah.
and a batter standing 60 foot 6 inches from them, throwing a ball at 100. I don't care. It is almost near impossible to hit a ball going over 95 miles an hour.
Except for Barry Bonds did it a bunch.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
He didn't? He didn't do it a
All
bunch?
right, let's
all right.
Let's
If
go
that's
through
what
the
you're
rest of
saying.
these questions real quick.
Wait, well, listen, it's time for us to get out of here. We
Oh,
don't
damn
have
it.
time.
All right, yes, I think
to
that
do-
smoking should be banned.
You think that smoking should be banned?
Yeah, because then I would be like a little crack guy on the street begging somebody for a cigarette.
I don't think that cigarettes should be banned if it's somebody else's choice. That's just what it comes
Yeah,
down
if
to.
it's stupidity.
Because you can't smoke in public or in private now, like in public. What
Well,
am I talking about? In
it's
private
time-
places, like like in St. Charles County, you can't smoke inside.
It's time for us to get out of here on the queue. But before we go, I have one last surprise for everybody, okay?
Oh, man.
The last surprise is the Renaissance Festival has hit the St. Louis area again. We've got a family 4-pack of tickets to give away to the Ren Fair here in St. Louis. And if you go to theqnow.com, that's TheQNOW.com, you'll see the graphic right there on the main page. Click on it and go do what they ask you at the St. Louis STL's Youth Sport Outreach Facebook page is where we're going to be doing. We're doing that in combination with them, and that's where we're going to be doing the giveaway for a family 4-pack to go to the Renaissance Fair. Fun to go see men jousting each other with knights suits on. Have you ever been to the Renaissance Fair?
I do, but
it's fun.
I don't go for the jousting.
What do you
go
go for?
The maidens, the Iron Maidens.
I go for
Not
Iron.
the Iron Maidens.
I go for Iron Maidens.
Oh, that's weird.
I go for Iron Maidens.
It's just odd.
Those are Jefferson County maidens.
Isn't that literally a torture device?
Those
Like,
Iron Maiden,
it's
those
gotta be
Iron
painful.
Maiden outfits are very nice.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you get a chance, go check that out at theqnow.com. I want to thank my boy Dirty from the XFan Talk Show.
Wednesday nights.
Go
we'll
check
be
them
doing
out.
the-
Facebook, everything.
Yep, everything. Facebook, Twitter. We're getting to Twitch. That's where you'll be.
You should follow this dude seriously on Twitter and Facebook because he is just wild. I'm telling you, man, this is a drama dude. Drama dude over here. Thank you so much, Jason Cole, once again. I appreciate it every single week you being here with me. That's going to do it for me. I'm Mark Bland. Make sure you check out theqnow.com. Old episodes, new episodes, and everything in between. Thank you to John Beal Roofing. 1-800-JOHN-BEAL. That's the number if you want to get your roof fixed in the St. Louis area. And also 102.5 KZK. No.
Lila.
105.3 1280 AM KYRO. Thank you so much to them too. We will see you guys next time on the